Philip II of Spain was undoubtedly the most powerful man on the planet. Thanks to the influx of gold and silver from the New World, Spain became wealthy and powerful. But wealth often brings many enemies. One of these enemies was Elizabeth I of England. England had been financing the Dutch Protestants in their revolt against the Spanish, who were Catholic. Elizabeth was a Protestant and had recently executed Mary, Queen of Scots. This angered Philip, as he felt Mary, a devoted Catholic, was the rightful person to sit on the English throne. Philip then planned to invade England, but he needed an armada, so he assembled 130 ships and 30,000 soldiers. Philip was rich, but not that rich, so he borrowed money from the Pope, as the Pope also wanted England to become Catholic again. Once Philip had conquered England, he would pay back the debt and still have money left over. Philip ordered the ships to be built, and they would be led by a great Spanish admiral, never defeated in battle according to Spanish sources. But he died suddenly before the armada was set to sail. Rather than wait to find someone more suitable, Philip appointed an army general named Alonso, who had never actually commanded a fleet or been on a ship. The English knew the Spanish were coming. The leaders of the English navy knew they could not win in open combat against the armada, so they launched an attack on the fleet while it was still docked in Calais. They set their own ships on fire and sailed them into the port, but with little effect. The Spanish tried to rescue their ships and sailed them out to sea. Some of the ships rammed into each other, while others ran into the English to be destroyed. The English had blocked their route back to Spain, so the rest of the Spanish fleet sailed into the Atlantic to be caught in a storm. Only 76 ships and 15,000 soldiers made it back to Spain. So what if the Spanish were successful? What if England hadn't have acted the way they did? What if Spain were ready earlier and still had a great admiral to sail the fleet? Here are two scenarios. If the Armada had won the battle, it's unlikely Spain would have conquered England. This is because Spain was also in conflict in other wars at the time, as well as being in debt. Philip's aim was to restore the Catholic monarchy in England and end the Protestant Tudor establishment. This would stop the English interfering with the Spanish Netherlands, who were supporting the Protestant rebels, meaning the Dutch revolt might have failed, meaning no independence for the Dutch. But what if Spain did manage to invade England with success? The English crown would have fallen to the Spanish Empire, which would likely lead to revolts, but let's say these revolts failed also. It would mean no British exploration. There would be no 13 colonies. The Spanish might have continued to expand the viceroyalty of New Spain. There would be no British colony in Australia or New Zealand, which would leave a gap for other Europeans to colonise. No British in Canada would be interesting. There would be no British Empire. Spain might have become the most dominant power. Let me know what you think in the comments. Stay chill and peace.